It's autumn. The sun has begun to forsake us. The trees are littering everywhere. It's time to make some squash. For this recipe, it's best to find a deciduous spaghetti squash 2 weeks into hibernating inside a pine needle nest on the forest floor 17 days before the first frost. We're going to start by cutting open the squash, which is the hardest thing you'll do over the next 6 months. You can start by using your chef's knife until you realize it's very difficult to penetrate the squash armor, so you get the bright idea to use a serrated knife to saw into it, before realizing that the easiest way is to actually just use a saw, which was first invented to open squash before the discovery of wood. Once we've got that split open, make sure to remove any overripe spaghetti, because if you leave this in, it'll just end up overcooked. If the middle spaghetti is underripe, you can scrape it out and enjoy a delicious bowl of squash gut cereal. The spaghetti of ideal ripeness is inside the hard part, which we're going to release through the power of cooking. Make sure you don't accidentally get genetically modified spaghetti and meatball squash, and also don't buy ravioli squash, it's very overrated, and definitely don't buy macaroni and cheese squash, which is just offensive. Also, I forgot, if you have a yellow belt like me, then you can just intimidate it into opening. Now that we've done the hard part, we'll sprinkle in some salt, some pepper, and some olive oil. Then we're going to fill that spaghetti hole with a thick block of feta. The reason we do that is because that's the way the recipe is, which is a good way. Now we're going to chop up some garlic. People often think you hit the garlic to get the skin off, but it's actually because you're angry with the garlic. And I'm really chopping up just a stupid amount of garlic here. We're going to add that on top of the feta, which we do not just because of how it tastes, but also because of the flavor. If any of your friends object to this amount of garlic, don't hesitate to say, "Look, over there." Then drive a wooden stake through their heart. Now we're going to slice up some tomato balls, turning them into tomato domes. Then we'll add those to the squash using the power of gravity. Although you can also use Larry's ultra strong squash tomato adhesive spray. Squash season is spooky season, and you can see that we've attracted a ghost right now. You can optionally drizzle some more olive oil on top with another sprinkle of salt, which you really don't need, but you can if you want for some reason, but you don't need to. Undo's on 400, and we're going to put that in there for an hour because that's how long it takes to cook spaghetti. You'll notice that the tomatoes look smaller once it's cooked, and that's just due to the shrinking power of heat. We're going to take that out, and now we'll be able to access the rest of the spaghetti, which we'll do by Spangjangling it all together. Now this is already completely full flavored, but if you want to add some vegetables, you can go ahead and add in some basil leaves. And if you want some sauce, you can add in some balsamic glaze. This recipe can be reduced to the simple math equation: squash plus dumb amount of feta plus stupid amount of garlic plus reasonably smart tomatoes equals Now enjoy that delicious spaghetti squash, and join me next week when I teach you how to make alphagetti cantaloupe.